Morning then. It's 4:47 and I don't know what the day is. I think it's Tuesday and we're on to day 11 of this adventure. And today I'm going to be running from Babovo, which is just outside of Rusa on the Bulgarian side of the river, to Giurgiu, which is on the north side of the river in Romania, which means a river crossing, which means a border crossing. It's about 21 miles or so. It's going to be, I'm steeling myself this morning because I know it's going to be a difficult one, not necessarily distance wise, but just the place that I'm running is inhospitable to say the least to runners. So yeah, I think it's going to be a tough one, sort of not a pleasant place to run. It's basically like a big main road that gets busier and busier as you come into a city, that then turns into like a truck stop, place where everybody goes across the border, and then up and over a bridge which breaks down into just well, it's like a main road, two lanes of traffic, one coming, standard, one going that way, one coming this way. Very tight, narrow, no pavements, nowhere really for someone to run, except me. So when we did with the bikes, it was okay on the bikes because the trucks kind of got it and they moved over. It still wasn't pleasant. Running feels like it's going to be a little bit more unexpected for them, tricky for me. So I'm going to get there and see, and I don't know what I'll do about that, really. I don't want to go into a dangerous situation. But that's what's on the cards today. Again, every morning I sort of wake up, last night just tossing and turning, trying to get the legs into a comfortable position. The blisters on my heels and stuff were sore, but also it's just hard to, even though you're lying on a nice bed, I can't describe it. It's a bit like you can't get your legs comfortable. They don't relax. And so that sort of disrupts my sleep. It was quite hot as well. And I always wake up, right now, it's a common pattern. The one thing I'm realising is because it happens every morning, I'm sort of trying to ignore it. But again, I just got this feeling of slight anxiety, nervousness, sort of butterflies about the day ahead, about the terrain, and also sometimes it's hard not to look further down the line and think about what's coming up. But yeah, I don't know, it's a weird one because I always feel the same. It does pass, and you've got to just try, and I'm just trying to ignore it now, just recognise that it's just part of it, sort of get the adrenaline pumping and get going. But plan today, I think, is to take it a little bit more steady, even though it's a shorter distance. The temptation I've had is to sort of try and get those done quickly because I feel like you can. But I think that yesterday put a little bit of extra strain on my tendons that I can't really afford long term. So today I need to rock it back a bit, and I need to just go easy, give myself a recuperative day on a short day. What I might do as well is there's another town 5 miles out of Giurgiu called Slobozia, and I might extend today's run by 5 miles if I feel good, if I can, and then that will shorten tomorrow's one, which is going to be a 40 miler to a more sort of manageable 35. So that will give me a little bit ahead. So I think that might be a smart way to do it. And then I'll get a taxi back from Slobozia to Giurgiu, where I'm staying. Yeah, I mean, some of the things people have sort of asked me, how's the technology working? I use my Garmin Enduro. Basically, it's got routes planned on Komoot, and I use that for route guidance, but also I've flicked over a lot to using a combination of Komoot on the phone, looking at my existing planned route, and then using Google Maps as well to see a bit more about what the reality is out here. And sometimes I'm sort of taking a slightly different route, so that's been working. It's all been tracking fine. Everything else on my kit has been brilliant. This Garmin InReach Mini 2, my little SATCOM device, also a separate tracking beacon, has been brilliant just for letting people know and follow my dot. Basically, there's a link which you can follow, which I'll pop in the caption actually, because it's the same link every day, but I start my tracking and then I send it to my family and they know where I'm going to be. Dead handy if you want to come out and run with me as well. That's been great. And yeah, kit wise, the Instinct packs work really well. Everything's so far so good. It's sort of holding up. The only thing that I've got is the Socket Endorphin Speed 2s For the first time this morning, I looked down at those shoes and I thought, torture instruments. And it's not the shoes, like I'm being mean to the Speed 2s. I absolutely love the Speed 2s. They've been a great shoe so far, but it's the first time I've looked at them and just thought, I don't know if I want to put on the same pair of shoes again. Maybe I want to put on something different. My thoughts have turned to maybe hunting out a running shop today when I'm in a city in Giurgiu and seeing about maybe trying to swap for something with a little bit more cushion and maybe just something for a change. Maybe if I could something really lightweight, maybe I could hang them on my backpack. I was thinking like a Hoka Rincon 2 or something, or something like that don't weigh very much, but will bring a bit of extra comfort that I could swap in and out maybe. But yeah, it's a tough one. This what else is? And some other things, like the other thing, when you're getting your kit ready in the morning, I'm tired this morning, and you can't afford to make mistakes. Like I just packed up all my kit, and then I was just about to sort of finish off. I noticed I'd left one of my charging plugs in the socket. These little things, these little mistakes, they're massive if you get them wrong and you leave things behind. I mean, I say massive. You could go and buy another one for sure, but that again then becomes a mission in the afternoon to go and find a shop where you can buy an adapter plug or whatever, and you don't really need those extra chores to do. And it's dialing in all these little details to make sure that everything, you've got to be on it. You've basically got to be on it. And yeah, so far I have been. I've got myself into such a good rhythm of getting up in the morning and getting everything kind of sorted in this kind of flow that I can be ready. But yeah, that's about it for today. I'm going to go out and just try and take this one easy, enjoy it as much as I can, and just get it done. It's another step further forward. It's back in another border crossing. We're going to have a beautiful view from the bridge if we get up there, if we have time and we're not being chased by trucks, if we have time to stop. And then we're on to the stretch that we recce'd when we came out here. So the day after, not the day after, but tomorrow will be a more familiar route. It's something that I've done pretty much most of it, so I know what's coming then. So that will hopefully be a bonus. And then we're back into the unknown. But let's just do one day at a time. And I'm going to go and finish off. I've got a taxi waiting to take me to the start. And yeah, I'll update you along the way and at the end. Your day 11 end of day update then. Today was a good day, I think partly because it was only 21 miles, and even moving sort of fairly steadily. That's 4 or 5 hours. 6 o'clock start means you're back quite early, or most of it's done really quite early, and that's there's good momentum feel for that. So that's always going to buoy me, I think, having those days that are a little bit shorter. But also, one good thing, I was staying in Rusa and we travelled back out to the start point, which is where I finished yesterday. It meant I got to see the entire route in a taxi cab, so I could see what was coming. I knew exactly what to expect, and that really helped. It started out on a kind of big main road that was sort of further out into the countryside. The road was busy today though. It got very busy very quickly and quite narrow, so there was a lot of fast passes in terms of the traffic, and there were cars were coming thick and fast and doing crazy overtaking. There wasn't as much room when they sort of passed me. If there were cars going the other direction, there wasn't enough room for them to sort of swing over, particularly when the trucks hit. So that's probably the most dangerous I've sort of felt the stretches of road that I've been on so far. Even some of the roads I've been on are even, they're more kind of dual carriageway, but it wasn't as fast moving and dangerous as it was today, but kind of mainly all right. As soon as I got out of the cab, dropped off on the side of the road, literally no sooner the cab pulled away, a dog appeared and came at me. It's like, this is not how I want my day to start. I buzzed in with the audio deterrent and he backed off a bit and left me alone. But it got me moving from the start pretty straight away. I could just about start my trackers in time from the start point. So yeah, I mean, I guess there is that, got me moving. And then a bit later down the line, there was one more that just snuck out under its kind of fence. Those are the worst ones, are the ones that they're small enough that they sneak out. They're supposed to be behind the fence, but they sneak out through the gaps and come running at you. But again, it was kind of okay. And then we sort of ran back into town, and I knew that it was going to get busier and busier and busier the closer you get to Rusa and the border crossing. And then the trucks start, it's basically like a car park of trucks, a truck park for, it must have been 2 miles, maybe more, of trucks parked in both directions, waiting to go through the border control and over into Bulgaria. And yeah, it was, weirdly, I was fearing this because I thought it was going to be mucky and grubby and congested and, just hectic. And actually, because in some cases it brought the traffic to a standstill, it was actually safer and nicer to be in amongst than the moving traffic, which was far busier and far more dangerous. One thing that really struck me, though, was the truck drivers, some of whom I could imagine, looking at the length of this queue, could well have been there for days, weeks, I don't know. They looked like people who'd been sat in a cab of a truck for much longer than would be humanly acceptable. I mean, ghostly looking, they had sort of like a 40-yard stare, the kind of stare that I know would have come from nothing to do, being trapped on the side of this road waiting to get across a border. That's how it felt anyway. So even though I waved to some of them and tried to talk to some of them who had jumped out of their cabs and were standing on the road, they weren't really interested. There was nothing, not a glimmer. You could see they sort of just lost any sense of kind of will to live, being trapped there. The bridge itself, actually, once I got over the crossing, was fine. I went on the side, not in the main road, and then at points there was no traffic on the bridge, and it's a vast bridge. The river at that point must be 1.5 kilometers wide at least, and right in the middle of it you've got this so absolutely spectacular view that when the trucks and that weren't there, it was very peaceful. It was actually quite a calm moment in the day. It was a little moment of sort of sanctuary. And then I finished off into Giurgiu here, back in Romania, through border control. And yeah, it was a pretty steady day, actually, really. All my little niggles stayed away to a certain extent. I can still sort of feel them. I got a new one. My hip decided to let me know that it was coming with me on the journey. So just sort of working out how to manage that as well. Particularly tomorrow, I'm staring down the barrel of a 37 miler. I did think about going back out today because I was feeling strong without the pack. I put the pack in my room and going and ticking off some of the miles for tomorrow's route without a pack, but I ran out of energy, and I found a supermarket that had loads of nice food, so I bought food and ate it. Lots of it. I've got avocados. I actually found avocados. I haven't seen those for about 7 days, and that's proper good solid fuel for running. It's got all the goodness I need. So I'll have one of those tonight, and then I'll have one in the morning before I go out and run. Got bananas, got tomatoes, got all sorts of good stuff. So it's been a good day, really. I feel sort of spirits buoyed. When I got to my hotel, I met a group of American cyclists who are riding the Danube from source to sea. I'm going to go for dinner with them when they offered to buy me dinner when they heard what I was doing. And again, I'm looking forward to that and hearing about their tales of what awaits kind of further up. So all in all, what I thought could be quite a difficult day has turned out to be quite a good day. I think there's a potentially, tomorrow I know what the route is, I know pretty much what awaits, and the only thing that I'm really kind of concerned about tomorrow is just the duration, the length, and how the tendons and things will hold up when you're pushing into that kind of 30 plus sort of zone through the heat and everything. So yeah, I don't really know what else there is to sort of say. I mean, other stuff from today. One thing I've wanted to get off my chest for a while is I didn't expect to come out here and see quite so much roadkill on the roads, and that's a hard thing. Right? I've seen all sorts. I've seen badgers, gophers. I've seen dogs, cats. I've seen a terrapin. I've seen pheasants. I've seen just about everything. Badgers, and when you're on foot, you're literally at times sort of running almost through it. It's yeah, it's quite distressing, really. That some of it really stinks as well. Not nice, you know. I hadn't really steeled myself to be experiencing that kind of stuff, but I guess getting desensitized to it as well, sort of seeing it. Other things that, you know, sanctuary is something that just keeps coming back to me all the time whilst I'm out here. Finding moments of sanctuary and the importance of sanctuary and it can be something that somebody does for you. It can be standing on that bridge when you've got a moment behind a barrier where there's no traffic and no trucks, no dogs and no craziness, and it's calm, and you just look out and see the Danube, and you've got 30 seconds or a minute to breathe it in and just be in a place that feels safe and beautiful. Those little moments are so important. They're so important. You know, coming back and meeting the American team and having a chat, and then them inviting me out for dinner, another moment. It just lifts your day. It's like, I hadn't really expected to need all of these quite so much, but it's amazing how they kind of stand out. They sort of punch into the difficulty the rest of the that you're facing the rest of the time, and yeah, and they make it all much easier. So long may they continue, actually. Yeah, I think we totaled up some of the numbers. I'm not really. John, who was out crewing me, added another column in my big spreadsheet that's my planner, and I'm closing in on 300 miles now, which is the furthest I've ever run in consecutive days. So there's one little milestone gone. My next milestone in my head is just to get across Romania. Get across a whole country. I think that's going to be a fantastic achievement. I'll be very proud of, regardless of where the rest of this journey goes. And yeah, so I'm just get my head down and do that, and yeah, just keep managing it as best as I can. You know, keep trying to enjoy it. Keep trying to drink it all in. You know, not try and get out of my own head when things aren't going quite right. Keep looking for the fizzy water and the oranges as well, because that seems to be a fix, and the avocados. But anyway, that's it for today. I'm going to go out and get some dinner, and I will see you again tomorrow for a big long 37 miler from Giurgiu to Zimnichaya. Can't say it. This was another one I can't say. There's a few of them on the way that I just cannot say. But anyway, over and out from Giurgiu. Beyond the running, the other highlight of my day was actually I just did a live Zoom call into my son's class at school. So they've got a big screen, they put me up on the big screen, and the kids all got to ask me questions about what I'm doing, or to see Riley and say hello. That was absolutely magic. What great questions they asked me as well, some brilliant questions. And yeah, that's definitely lifted my spirits as well today, just sort of seeing all those, and again, just dropping back into, the world back home again is just important. I talked to my mum again. I talked to my dad last night. I've had a big chat with Pat, my friend Pat, and yeah, I've even called Pat from out on the road where me and him, when we did the cycle recce, we got into a bit of a difficulty out there. So when I got to that spot again, I got Pat on the phone and said, "Pat, I'm back here. Guess where I am?" But anyway, all of that has helped as well today. So yeah, it's been a good day. Oh, quickly, one more thing I wanted to say. If you have any questions about all of this that I'm not answering in the video, there's the things that you'd like to know about my kit, about my shoes, about my feet, about what I do in the morning, about my prep, about what I'm seeing, all of those things, hit me up in the questions below and I'll answer them in the videos, because I feel like I'm starting to repeat myself a bit. But yeah, and there's many things that I'm doing that I just figure people might know about, but there might be some interesting stuff that I'm missing. So yeah, please feel free to ask, and I will answer your questions in the next videos as I go. It'll give me something to think about as I run. But yeah, anyway, bye.